a terrorist attack in New Orleans? Or was it? Let's hear from the police out there.
This is not a terrorist event.
Not a terrorist
event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found. And we are working on confirming if this is a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all the way to St. Anne until we can figure out what is going on. Our goal is to provide you additional information at the 11 a.m.
Until we can figure out what's going on. I remember when Donald Trump said that. I think this was early on, and I think it has emerged since that this was, in fact, a terrorist attack. I don't know why she was saying that it wasn't. The attacker is a man called Shamsud-Din Jabbar, the alleged terrorist, and there he is. Some people will be drawn to the hand signal here. I don't know if that means anything to you. Some people say that this triangle symbol has some kind of meaning behind it. There was a clip of him, actually, and he is a former military man. The ISIS attacker, Shamsud-Din Jabbar, worked for one of the largest US government contractors in the country, Deloitte. And according to his introduction video, which has been taken down from YouTube, he spent 10 years working in the military. Let's hear from the man himself.
I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist in IT. I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston.
Okay, born and raised Beaumont, Texas. Shamsud-Din. Where do you think he's from? Let's racially profile him. I mean, he has a Muslim name. I think it's quite racially ambiguous. Would he be Indian subcontinent? Possibly. Let's find out what some other people are saying about this incident. There was an ISIS flag found very conveniently and photographed. That is the ISIS flag, or the flag that's attributed to ISIS or Daesh, although they don't call themselves that. And it can be confusing because there are other Islamic militant groups that use a similar flag, and the black flags are something that are mentioned in certain hadiths, that you should look for the black flags from Khorasan, and you'll know that the Mahdi is on the way, if I'm correct. Recently, this flag was shown in Syria. One of the new government people in Syria was seen with that flag, and people debated, was it ISIS flag or another similar group? So look, if this ISIS style attack has occurred and the flag is there, I mean, case closed, isn't it? It's definitely ISIS that did this. The mayor of New Orleans, claiming that it wasn't, claiming that it was a terrorist attack. So this is from the mayor.
That, first of all, we do know that the city of New Orleans was impacted by a terrorist attack.
Patrick said we'll be taking over the
There you go, there's the clip we saw. So the mayor comes out and says, yes, it definitely was a terrorist attack. And then you've got the police denying that it was a terrorist attack. Look, it happened recently in Germany. it's happened now. This is well known to be a tactic that is used by these extremist groups. And where did ISIS come from? Well, they were originally what was known as Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda in Iraq became the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. They don't call themselves ISIS, but that's where they began. And all these groups split off and splintered into different factions. At times they fight each other, and at times they attack the West. Some people like to say that ISIS are backed by the West. They receive weapons, training, support. They always attack the West's enemies, or Al-Qaeda, and by implication, ISIS. And yes, it's true. Over the years, Al-Qaeda have attacked the West's enemies. If we go all the way back to the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, who were armed by Jimmy Carter, who's just passed away. Sadly, just passed away. I think Jimmy Carter did a lot of good things later in life and a lot of bad things earlier in his life, but his administration were arming the Mujahideen, who became Al-Qaeda, because they were fighting against the Soviet Union, and there was a pro-Soviet leader of Afghanistan, president or prime minister, I'm not sure, and they wanted to arm this radical Islamist group to resist that pro-Russian government. And then in the 90s, you had the war in the Balkans and the dismantlement of Yugoslavia, and the Mujahideen. Many of them had been in Afghanistan, came to Bosnia, and they fought alongside the Bosnians, the Bosniaks, against the Serbs. And again, you've got Yugoslavia that was pro-Russian, aligned with Russia, and you had the West wanting to destroy that country, break it up into many different nations, and that's where we get the term Balkanization, to make a country like the Balkans, which went from having Yugoslavia as one united country for all the southern Slavs. Yugoslavia means southern Slav. You broke it up into Macedonia, Kosovo, Serbia, Montenegro, Croatia. It became Balkanized. So over the years, many times when it's been opportunistic for the West to fund Al-Qaeda, they have done so, and they've helped to Balkanize these countries. They funded the separatists in Chechnya, again, to help them break away from Russia. They funded the same fanatics in Libya when Colonel Gaddafi was he went from pan-Arabist with the Arab League to being pan-Africanist. He reached out to Africa. He wanted to unite Africa. He wanted to have a single currency in Africa backed by gold. And they funded the jihadists to go and topple him. It doesn't mean he was a perfect leader. I bet he did many mistakes, but they sent these Al-Qaeda types to go and destroy him. And the blowback that came, you remember the Manchester Arena attack, carried out by a Libyan who had been fighting, who had been radicalized in Libya, and then returned to home soil and attacked British citizens. So it's not really a good idea to arm and train radical fanatics and not expect that they might come back and by the hand that feeds them. Was it the Boston bombing? I think they were Chechens that had been fighting against Russia, trained, armed, funded, encouraged by the US, came home and attacked the hand that feeds them. So we've had Afghanistan, Bosnia and Yugoslavia. We've had Libya. We've had Syria. Over the years, many of the jihadists that went there to topple Bashar al-Assad. Again, maybe Bashar al-Assad is not a great guy, but it certainly suited certain people to have him toppled. Certain governments have taken credit for arming, training, funding the opposition groups out there, and now he's gone. So it's very much a case of, at times, Al-Qaeda are considered good when they are toppling Bashar al-Assad or Colonel Gaddafi, or fighting against the Russians, and they're considered bad when they commit these atrocities on home soil in our countries in the West. So it could be as simple as that. That this Jabbar, what's his name? Shamsud-Din, the New Orleans attacker, Shamsud-Din Jabbar. Yeah, it could be as simple as he is a legit member of ISIS, and he wanted to have the flag there for all to see, and there it was on the floor. Could be as simple as that, but it does seem a little bit convenient.